I'm not in on, especially repeating as a wide receiver one. Dude, I see a lot of people who are calling you out. Matthew Berry, this is surely good for reputation.
Yeah.
Let me just call it the godfather of fantasy football real quick.
Right.
Matthew Berry's got him as like his wide receiver 11. It just feels wild to me. What is up, Fourth and Trollers? Welcome back to Fourth and Troll Fantasy, the most entertaining fantasy football podcast on the planet. I'm Noah.
And I'm Wes.
I usually say my last name. I don't know why I didn't this time.
Today, I'm Noah.
First name basis. Yeah, first name basis here on Fourth and Troll Fantasy today.
It's about time.
And we got a good episode for you guys today. We're talking about some breakouts. Not this year's breakouts. We're talking about last year's breakouts. It's going to be a good time. We're going to take a look at the top 6 breakouts from last season. Figure out what they're going to do this season in 2024 for fantasy football. It's going to be a fun time. I'm Wes. I got a little bit of a cough.
I do too.
So you had it a couple episodes a while back. I have it now.
I might vomit. I might cough so bad. I just hurl right here.
Yeah,
so
it's just going to be...
Stay tuned for that.
So it's a 4D experience.
I didn't mean to do that.
Nice.
I'm going to get it on the mic.
You didn't even mute yourself.
Damn. All right. Just breakouts.
Yeah, I mean, that was you did like we just talked about it a little bit. You did the toddler cough right there.
But yeah, fun. We'll get to breakout in a second. One of my favorite things in the world. My favorite things in the world is when little kids cough because they make.
He's gone, ladies and gentlemen.
Never mind. You get it. Make eye contact.
This is what they do. This is what they do, guys. If you're ever going to talk... if you... That's...
This is the worst episode.
The best part about that, Wes, real quick, before we jump into it, was that you froze on my screen right when you coughed. So I just had freeze frame out. I just had freeze frame and you going,
goodness.
Don't clip that, you guys.
We're so done. Okay. All right, I'm ready.
All right,
breakouts.
Here we go.
Last season's breakouts.
We're talking about breakouts today on Fourth and Troll Fantasy, guys. Like I just said, it's gonna be a fun time. Let's just jump into it, Wes, because we got 6 guys to go over here. You could say they're the top 6 breakouts. I already said that, so that's what I'm saying now again, is that they're the top 6 breakouts. And it's going to be a good time. I'm slowly sinking in my chair, by the way, just in case anyone is wondering. It's not like Benjamin Button syndrome. I'm just, by the end of this, going to be...
Your beard starts rescending.
Yeah. By the end of this,
is
my
rescending
actual
a word,
or
did I just...
Anyway, let's get into it. Let's talk about it. The first guy we're going to talk about here, Puka Nacua. Last year's biggest breakout. Everyone loves Puka. I mean, I love Puka Nacua. I have a shirt for Puka Nacua. I am in love with this man on a deep level. Genuinely, he is a phenomenal player to have on your fantasy football team. Super fun to watch play fantasy football. He's the wide receiver 4 last season. 105 catches, 1,486 yards, and only 6 touchdowns. When we were grabbing the stats, I could have sworn it was much more. But how do we feel about Puka this season, Wes, going into 2024? Where are we having Puka at in 2024 for fantasy football?
Right now, he's a first round pick, essentially. He's at the 1-2 turn, and it feels like everyone is ready to just throw Cooper Kupp to the Wolves. And that's the only question I have. It's possible. I'm not going to totally believe this, but it's possible that both Puka and Cooper Kupp finish as top 10 wide receivers. It's entirely possible just for the Cooper Kupp faithful fans. Yeah, it's just I'm not sure, but we know with Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp, it's a real thing that could happen. But I think Puka is safe, and I think when you're coming off of 105 catches, which is in PPR why he really ended up as wide receiver 4, yeah, I ship it. And who knows if Kupp even is healthy the whole season. I think it's why he's fallen to pretty much the 5th round. So I'm all for it. I think Puka is great, and I think he is. I think it's worth taking that shot as him as your wide receiver 1, your very first pick in your draft.
Yeah, I mean, he had like 100. I think he had like 160 targets last season. It was insane. Obviously, he played the first portion of the season without Cooper Kupp, as Cooper Kupp was dealing with that injury. Do you remember week 2? Well, week 1 rolls around, and the Rams come out, and they're playing against Seattle. And this random 5th round rookie has like 15 targets. And we're like, the hell is going on here? Like, who is this dude? Like, what's happening? And everyone scrambles to the waiver wire. I blew almost like all my fab on Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams week 1. Turned out to be decent decision making. But and then we're like, okay, we'll see if that was a fluke. And then he comes out week 2 and he has 20 targets. So targets are earned from Matthew Stafford, and Puka will earn those targets again. I think he runs it back as a wide receiver 1 this season. Easy top 12 he'll end up for me. So I'm excited about Puka, and we can expect good things to come again for him after a breakout season. So
we both agree. Let's move on to the first round, though.
1-2 turn, I think at least. Yeah, okay. I mean, it kind of depends on where we land at with some of the wide receivers and how deep how far they fall into the first. At what point you want to make him? He can be your wide receiver 1, like if he falls you in at whatever point. But let's jump into the second breakout from last season. We're going to talk about here, a guy that really came onto the scene pretty late as far as years into the NFL, and that's Nico Collins. Nico Collins finishes the wide receiver 12 last season. He has 80 catches for 1,297 yards and 8 touchdowns. Dude was a beast. He established himself as a legitimate target here for CJ Stroud, and I think there was a little bit of back and forth between Nico Collins and Tank Dell, but dude, nice.
Thanks.
Yep. And so I think we're going to look forward to more of Nico Collins, but with Stephon Diggs added to the offense. I personally still believe Tank Dell is going to be the top wide receiver in this offense for fantasy football. I am not in the consensus. I am not in the majority. I think a lot of people think it's going to be Nico Collins. It's going to be maybe Stephon Diggs. I'm a firm Tank Dell believer in multiple ways, and I think this is going to be.
And what do you mean in multiple ways?
It's a slow burn. We'll move on. So anyways, I love Tank Dell, but Nico Collins here is the wide receiver 12. And I think, I don't know, I have a hard time seeing him repeat that performance. What do you think, Wes?
I do too. I don't buy it as far as where he is in the ADP, because when I keep looking at where he's being taken, Stephon Diggs is basically taken at the same pick. And I think everyone's just trying to throw a dart at the Texans wide receiver board.
Everyone just wants to get one right.
Yes. And I think it's either going to be nobody or it's going to be just one person. And and Nico Collins, is he even technically the wide receiver 1 on the depth chart, or are they giving that to Stephon Diggs? Because that's what also confuses me. How can you have 2 wide receiver 1s? One of them, I don't understand why both are taken right there at the 2-3 turn. If I'm going to draft one, I'll take Tank Dell because he's also more affordable and has the same upside. So I'm for the sake of this, I'm not buying Nico Collins as having another season that's just as great.
Me either. Yeah, I think I look at this wide receiver room similarly to how I feel about if you're going to take one of the one of like the pocket passers as your quarterback in fantasy in your draft. A lot of these guys, your Justin Herberts, your Joe Burrows, your Kirk Cousinses, your Tuas, those kind of guys. You're just banking on, you're calling your shot on which one throws for 4,800 yards and 40 touchdowns, because any of them could, but you just got to call your shot on which one it is. And when I look at that, I usually go, which one's cheapest? Because if any of them could, let me just figure out who's going to be the best value. And when it comes to the Texas wide receiver room, it's Tank Dell. So I'm not in on Nico Collins, especially repeating as a wide receiver one. Dude, I see a lot of people who are calling you out. Matthew Berry. This is surely good for our repertoire and our podcast. This is surely good for our reputation. Yeah. Let me just call it the godfather of fantasy football real quick. Matthew Berry's got him as like his wide receiver 11 coming into the season as his early rankings right now that he has. It just feels wild to me. So I don't know. I'm going to stay away from Nico. I'm all in on Tank Dell. I'm excited there. And so that's where I'm at. Not buying this breakout again, for sure. Let's jump to a position change here. The first running back on this list we're going to talk about, Travis Etienne, finishes as the RB3 last season. Yeah. 267 carries, 1,008 rushing yards. How the hell did he become the RB3? He scored 11 rushing touchdowns. 11 rushing touchdowns, and he caught 58 balls for 476 receiving yards and a touchdown through the air as well. I want to get your thoughts on Travis Etienne, Wes, and then I'll share mine. But what do you think? RB3, can he sniff RB3 this season?
No. I don't see him as a top 10 even for this season. I think wisely, these experts that have put together these ADPs have put him so far in the draft. And sure, he's a starting running back, and that's good value alone. But I'm not buying Travis Etienne is even making the top 10 this season. I think 11 rushing touchdowns is amazing.
All right. So I thought we would actually differ on this, Wes, because at the end of last season, we did an episode where we predicted the first round, and I needed you to convince me pretty hard on Travis Etienne. It sounds like we're on the same page now, though, because I'm also out on Travis Etienne. I think this is I went ahead and looked at his game log, and he scores 12 touchdowns last season. He does it all in like 8 of his 17 games. And when he does not score a touchdown, he is the RB39, RB22, RB38, RB25, RB20, RB25, RB48, RB16. He's in games where he scores touchdowns, he's an RB14 or better. So he's a borderline RB1 or better. When he doesn't score a touchdown, he's like barely a wide receiver or an RB2. So I don't see with them kind of adding or replacing and probably wanting to see Trevor Lawrence make this leap as a quarterback and as a passer, adding weapons like Brian Thomas Jr. to the offense, adding Gabe Davis. Man, what an offensive weapon. Am I right?
Dude, he got 4 touchdowns in one postseason game, dude. Don't knock him.
He's like a bag of jelly. So I don't know about that guy, but that was mean. That was really that was mean.
Just absolute disrespectful.
Yeah. Anyways, so we're not in on Travis Etienne to come back to be an RB1 this season. I don't think he'll be in my top 10 either. So I just think this is going to be we're definitely out here on this guy. The next guy is another running back, Raheem Mostert. It's no secret, Wes, that you and I are Dolphins fans. Loved watching Raheem Mostert do his thing last season. Score 21 touchdowns on his way to being the RB5. Dude played just like 14 games. He's the RB5 in the season. 209 carries, just over 1,000 yards, 18 rushing touchdowns, 3 touchdowns through the air, RB5. And it's painful to say as a Dolphins fan, but dude, he is not going to be close to this season, I don't think. I just can't see 21 touchdowns happening again. Hey, maybe he gets close to Travis Etienne's number. Maybe he gets 12 touchdowns. But Travis Etienne also caught like almost 35 more passes than him, had like 300 more receiving yards. I'm out on Raheem. It's sad.
Yeah.
But the dude has never done this in his career. He had more total touchdowns last season alone than he had throughout his entire career up to that point. Like it's a bit of a one-off season.
Wow.
And it's a bummer. But this Dolphins offense just has a lot of mouths to feed, and it's going to get real creative. OBJ just got to the team. Most recent signing, a lot of young talent coming out of the draft. I can't see it happening again. Yeah, HN. Yeah, HN would miss like 6 or 7 games last season. And so that was a big piece of Raheem Mostert really getting a lot of that production, getting a lot of those touchdowns. It was just a visual thing for me. And I'm just going to point this out real quick. And I don't know if a lot of other people have seen it or want to point it out. Towards the end of the season, it was clear to me that the running back that broke away on that primetime game in week 2 against New England for that like 45-yard touchdown, that was not the same runner that we were seeing at the end of the season. He looked slower. He looked more beaten up. He dealt with his own injury as well. So can't see it happening again with Raheem Mostert, another breakout from last season who I just think, man, this is not going to be good. And I think we need to caution ourselves when we're drafting this guy. In our way too early mock draft, Wes, Raheem Mostert was going in the 9th round. In the 9th round, that feels like some decent value on Raheem Mostert. Sure, but I don't know how early I would go and how readily I would want to have Raheem Mostert be a guy who just sits in my starting lineup. I think I'm a little worried when it comes to that. I mean, it's a bummer.
We're all excited for Achane. We all know that Tua has a kind of he's on a contract year. Tyreek's going to be only in the NFL for a couple more years. Jalen Waddle is trying to get a better contract as well. There's going to be a lot more for the passing altogether. So, yeah, one-hit wonder. Thank you. Super fun for those that drafted you, Raheem Mostert, but that was it. Thank you.
Yeah.
See ya. We'll put you in the Ring of Honor, I suppose. No,
Absolutely.
We won't. No,
probably not. In the Ring of
2023 honor.
I was working for it. I was looking for it and I couldn't find it.
That's all right. You want to just sit here in silence until you figure it out?
Yeah, let's give it. Yeah.
Raheem
of Honor.
The Raheem of Honor. There it
is.
Dude,
we made it, dude.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll clip it. I'll just clip it.
We're the best podcast that has ever podcasted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Watch
dude.
Out. Love you, bro.
Okay, next one.
All right, next one here. Sam Laporta. Big breakout from last season. Tight end 1.
Yes.
Rookie. I looked at you. I said, you're an idiot. Rookie with tight ends do nothing. Then Sam Laporta came and took a dump on my forehead and was like, hey, I do things.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a visual for all you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep adding to that. Took a dump on your forehead and did things.
Yeah.
Ooh. What a fun night that was.
Oh, yeah. All right. I really, sometimes, you say things. Sometimes, you say things and you realize afterwards that was just the wrong way to say things.
Like,
and,
yeah. No, I think you nailed it.
I didn't want to do that.
Oh, no. What I should have said was.
Yeah, okay, there you go. All right. Sam Laporta, 86 catches, 889 yards, 10 touchdowns. The tight end 1. I personally, if I had to give a percentage to him being the tight end 1 again this season, I would put it at about like a 25% chance. I think there are guys. I think there's about 3 other guys who have a really, really solid shot to be the tight end 1. Travis Kelce, obviously, Mark Andrews, and George Kittle. And maybe I'll say 20% because maybe Kyle Pitts is in there as well. So I don't think he repeats his tight end 1. 10 touchdowns is a lot of touchdowns to score. We talk about the other breakouts earlier in the episode here. Nico Collins had 8 touchdowns. Puka Nacua, 6 touchdowns. 10 touchdowns is a lot. So I don't necessarily think, hey, this is for sure going to happen again. I know he had a game where he scored like 3 touchdowns in one game at one point. He'll be really good. He'll be really good. He's worth drafting.
Right.
I don't know if he's the tight end 1 again. I like it. He'll be top 10. He'll probably be top 5. So I guess I'm just talking this out to myself right now. I'm thinking out loud, and
what do you watching think, you tango?
Yeah, I'm just having fun.
There are two possibilities for me who the tight end 1 is going to be this season. It's Sam Laporta or it's Travis Kelce. That's the way I see it. That's kind of it. Because I do not think Kyle Pitts or George Kittle or Mark Andrews will do better than Travis Kelce. I do not feel that way.
Yeah.
And Mark Andrews is the only one who has done that before, but we'll get to Mark Andrews at some other points, but I think Isaiah Likely is going to be more involved in that team now because of how great he was when he filled in for Mark Andrews, and Likely is really good and could be a starter on a few different teams.
And George Kittle obviously won't because they drafted Ricky Pearsall with the 31st overall pick.
You hate this guy. You hate Ricky Pearsall so much.
If there are no Ricky Pearsall haters in the world, I'm dead. That's where we're at.
Yeah,
what a foolish pick. What a foolish pick. I don't know. I'm still not over it.
All right. Anyway, point being, there's only one tight end I think that could do better than Travis Kelce, and that's Sam Laporta. So I think that continues. I know Amon-Ra St. Brown got an insane contract. Jahmyr Gibbs going into his 2nd season. You talked about Jameson Williams in that mock draft episode about them trying to incorporate him more. I still think Sam Laporta is going to be right where he was last season. And so, I'm buying back in on him for continuing this great career of his.
Yeah, I don't hate it at all. The last guy we're going to talk about here, the only quarterback on the list, big quarterback breakout last season, Jordan Love, over there in Wisconsin with the cheese.
Yeah.
They throw the cheese on their heads there, you know?
Yeah. I wish I knew how to do a Wisconsin accent.
I'm so tired.
Oh, Scott, what a horrible show.
This is awesome. Jordan Love, QB5 last season, nearly 4,200 yards, 32 touchdowns, 250 rushing yards, and 4 rushing touchdowns. 36 total touchdowns there for Jordan Love, 11 interceptions. QB5.
Yeah.
Dude, I had Jordan Love in a dynasty league, and like 6 weeks in, I was like, dude, he just keeps throwing an unreasonable amount of touchdowns. This isn't going to hold up. Let me sell high. Let me sell high on Jordan Love. Oh, dude, you know who I believe in? A guy that's leading the league in passing yards. Oh, dude, let me sell Jordan Love for Sam Howell and a 2nd-round pick. Oh, I'm going to fleece this dude. I hate myself. And
that's why you got a fantasy football podcast, baby.
Yeah. Dude, what a poor decision
Big money
I made.
moves.
But no, I'm bought in. I think Jordan Love can repeat this kind of QB1 season. The offense around him is fantastic. LaFleur is a great offensive mind. I think they're equipping him to be able to do really well, and I think he will. I think he's going to be really, really solid. He's another one of those guys that it's like, okay, he's a pocket passer. He doesn't really run a lot. He has 4 rushing touchdowns. He doesn't use his legs a ton. He's not a Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts type player. He is definitely still, I would consider him that pocket passer type. But I think he's going in like the 10th round, dude. And I think that's really good value. And I think that's really solid. I think there's a good chance that Jordan Love ends up a top 12 quarterback again this season. And I'm bought back in. I think he'll shine. I think he's really starting to blossom out into a really nice career, Jordan.
I think that he's I don't think he's going to be top 5.
Mm.
And I think he has a pretty good shot to be top 10. But for where he's being drafted, it feels like no harm, no foul, because it's if you personally believe in Jordan Love, it's the same as if you personally believe in Tua or Jared Goff. You just kind of pick the quarterback that you like with the receivers. Kirk Cousins, you're going to buy back in on him? Great. If you believe in that, it's your pick. Which receivers do you like better? Which quarterback do you feel like you trust more? Because the quarterbacks going before Jordan Love are ones that you think are top 5. And after that point, they're all going to be top 10, essentially. Yeah. It's just such an easy decision. But as far as like being top 5 or having a better season, I don't believe that. I don't think he's going to do better this season. I would be surprised. I know Christian Watson in a full year would be, maybe that changes more. Romeo Dobbs going into his 3rd season, that might change more. Jordan or Jaden Reed. I mean,
there's breakout from last season. Jaden Reed coming back around as well. Yeah. They've got a couple tight ends there. Josh Jacobs is there. One of my favorite sleeper draft picks. Marshawn Lloyd is now there to maybe get some RB2 work. I mean, if you're going for a pocket passer, take your pick. Whoever's cheapest, you could probably do well with. Yeah, I mean, he is really solid. He's really consistent. I just pulled up his game log here. I mean, a couple outlier games, but like besides, what are we at here? 1, 2, 3, 4, like 6 games. Only 6 games last season outside the top 12. So besides that, he was a QB1, all but 6 games last season. Like that's really solid. That's really decent. I mean, I think he's going to be a really solid guy. So I guess I'm bought back in on him too. I mean, if he's sitting there staring at me at the right pick at the right point in the draft, if I don't have my quarterback and he's falling there, I'd go for it. I'd take a shot.
You could go to the championship with Jordan Love as your quarterback. That's entirely possible.
People went to the championship with Joe Flacco as their quarterback last season.
Thanks to you.
You're welcome. Bench Patrick Mahomes. That's it.
General.
Just in general. Yeah, definitely not just for fantasy football. Listen, there's the top 6. There's the top 6 breakouts from last season. Our prediction for what they're going to do this season. All in all, Wes, I think we went, half and half? We're in on Puka, Sam Laporta, and Jordan Love. We're out on Nico, Etienne, and Raheem Mostert. Yeah. Handful of guys there that are going to be looking at you in your drafts. You got to think about if you're going to buy back in on the breakout. We are on some. We're not on others. Let us know in the comments what you think about these 6 guys. Who do you think is going to have another great season carrying over from their breakout last year? Who's not going to? Who's going to be the breakout this season? Also, let us know because I need to know because I need to draft him as well. Make Teddy the Troll smile by liking, subscribing, ringing the bell. Follow us on all our socials. They'll be linked down below. Join us on our Patreon. We're giving away a signed James Cook jersey if you can beat us in fantasy football this season. That's lit. Let's go, dude. That's freaking sick.
Let's go, dude.
Make sure you follow us on our socials. We'll be posting updates there. Join us in our Patreon and our Discord, patreon.com/4thandtrollfantasy. I don't know if I am forgetting anything. I don't think I am. I think this was a fun time.
Merch.
Oh, yeah. We have merch. too. And that's going to be linked below, too. Dude, this is so...
fourthandtrollstore.com.
fourthandtrollstore.com. We are killing it right now. This is a blast. My name is Noah.
What?
And this has been Fourth and Troll Fantasy. Fourth and Troll Fantasy is a production of FQ Media Group and Selby Artistic Workshop.